Are you an RPG player, a DM, or just a writer, and you struggle to come up with names for your characters, your cities, your world, even your shops? Well, I might be able to help with that. In today's video, we're going to talk about character names and how to come up with them. You may have seen that intro on TikTok over the last few weeks. I've been trying to break down the best ways to come up with character names, breaking them down, doing the individual ones. Today, we're going to concentrate on actual characters and people and how to come up with their names. And then in a subsequent video, locations, shops, places, things like that. Because you can intermix and you can do the same tricks with both, but you can also do individual ones. I've been putting these videos up, but I also, on Wednesday night, playing my regular Wednesday night D&D game, realised I do it without thinking about it. I come up with names. I will say this person's name is the. My DM struggles to come up with names. So we were playing and he went, there's a goblin boss and his name is, what's a good boss name? I went, Garrock. He went, that's a perfect name. We've been playing a year. He's only just realised I can do this. We then came across a couple of NPC lumberjacks and he went, give me two names. I went, Sorn and Kieran. And it was like, boom, done, name, sorted. He's like, what about an ogre? I went, like a Rogana. And it was like just a noise, a name. You just think of a name, you think of the character, you say it. For me, that's how you do it. That's all you do. If I need to come up with a name for a Harrigan cleric, she's going to be called Banfa. She's kind of a bunny. Banfa. She is called Banfa. There we go. She's now called that. We'll come back to her at a later date along with the other videos because that's a separate thing. She probably won't be called Banfa because she's already got a name. But that's it. So you need character names. You need to find out like who they are, what they are, and find the appropriate name for that person. So you can do it in a multitude of different ways. And today we're going to go for a few. The first, and obviously the easiest way possible, is to pick up your laptop. You're sitting there typing the thing, you go, I need a new name, I need a character name, it needs to be something odd. So you go, and you have Rutty. His name is Rutty P9HHUI. Let's get rid of the semicolon, change the first H to T, and change the 9 to an A. Your first character you need to come up with and create, his name is Rutty Pathuo. I mean, if he's an ogre and you're trying to find an ogre named Rutty Pathuo, it's probably not going to be it. But a shopkeeper who sells herbs and spices, Rutty Pathuo, he's going to have sort of slightly, maybe Spanishy kind of vibe. Rutty Pathuo. Maybe he's Indian. Maybe he's Rutty Pathuo. You know, it could be. But your character started there just by banging the keys and coming up with a name. Simple. But you can just imagine the name. You can just go, Rrr. The name for a monster is going to be something that's going to be, Rutty Pathuo is not going to be a barbarian. It could be Rutty. He's going to be more Rutty. He's going to be fun and jolly and happy. To create a dark and evil creature, you got to go with the
Kiki and Boo Boo theory. Kikis are always sharp and zigzaggy, and Boo Boos are always soft and fluffy, like clouds.
Yeah, because it swirls and it's moves. So dark and evil tend to be zigzaggy and sharp and spiky. Yeah, so they tend to be K's and G's and X's and Z's and guttural sounds. So you can go with Quantak, Quantak. It's almost Klingon, you know, Quantak. So your big bad boss is going to be Quantak the Quarrelsome. But the priest or cleric of the village, they're going to be Bandar. One of those languages is very, it's kind of like a panpipe. Gelflings in Dark Crystal, they're all and likewise you can come up with names that vary around crystals. So Sitano and Gilandu, soft voices. Yeah, you can use a G or an X or something, but it can still be paired with soft words. So you come up with Sandolani. Yeah? It's almost Italian. Sandolani. Yeah? Different languages have different ways of pronouncing. Japanese tends to be very guttural and very abrupt. So Gito Sakatomora. thing called samurais. So you've got lots of different character names there. Picking things to match helps. Banging keys also helps. You could also do one key to the right. So what you do is you take a person's name, Sydney Sweeney. Take Sydney Sweeney, put her name one letter to the right. That would be Dumfrey. You'd have to put an E in there. A capital S becomes Dearmr. Dumfrey Dermru. You simply took a celebrity's name, typed their name one letter to the right as best you can. Rearrange the letters because Dumfrey needed an E in there, and you just changed 2 letters around. You suddenly got Sydney Sweeney becomes Dumfrey Dermru. You could do that with it. Do it with your own name. What do you come up with if you type your own name in and SoloNic becomes? We would be Dumavov. Additionally, you could just write that name backward. So Sydney becomes Y-E. In this year news. I did that in my rather random book I made as a commission for somebody. Someone dared me / commissioned me to write a book in about 3 months. And I wrote Isis and Claire and the Sector D Wolves. It was a erotic space opera. You don't have to go and read it. But all I did was I took everybody in the book based on people, and I just turned their names around. So I became Kin, Arot, and so things like that. Names, just very obvious, very simple. I literally just wrote people's names backwards. It doesn't have to be difficult. You could also do like really obvious things like just ask ChatGPT really to come up with 50 names for NPCs. Do you need 50 names for NPCs? You have them. You can just go onto Google and search baby names. If you're wanting contemporary names, you want very simple Sarah, James, Jane, Mary, Philip, ordinary names. You can also find name generators, such as the best one I know of is DonJon. Look up DonJon Name Generator, and you will find this page, and you can come up with common names, sci-fi names, Viking names, fairy names. Need 50 names. It'll just print 50 names up, and you just copy that, paste it into your Word document, and keep that beside you, or have it on your tablet. And when you're playing a game and someone says, I walk into a shop and I say, shopkeeper, what is your name? And the shopkeeper will go, Nigel. Doesn't really work. There's I sell medieval potions. What's your name? Nigel. I think Nigel would then become Nurgle. Yeah, he'd be a halfling called Nurgle. You can use name generators that can be funny. The one I did recently and it's got a few comments on TikTok was your porn star name. If you don't know this, everyone should know this. Your porn star name is your first pet. Mine was Benji, and the first road you lived on as a kid. Mine was Bouverie. So I would be Benji Bouverie. Sounds like a porn star name, doesn't it? Yeah. If you had a pet, a dog, and a little tiny white dog, and it was called Fluffy McGaw, that's a porn star name. But it could just be somebody who worked in a pleasure palace. Welcome to Fluffies, where all your pleasures will be fluffy and white. That's a whole different video. I digress. Slight segue. The reason I did that is because you can also do your Star Wars name. What's your Star Wars name? You take the first 3 letters of your first name for this purpose. There you go. K-pop artist. This is Kwon Umbi. Kwon Umbi's name would be the first 3 letters of her first name, so Kwo, and last 2 letters of surname, B, Kwobi. First 2 letters of the surname, Yu, and last 2 letters of the first name, Yun. Kwobi Yun. Kwon Umbi's Star Wars name would be Kubi Yun. What's yours? All these need to be commented underneath the video. Each one, as you do them, type them in, and then you end up with a long list of random words that make no sense. Name you should all know. And just for the sake of this one, a pair of scissors. An anagram of Terry Pratchett. Peachy. A lot of T's. Teacher Pritt. Teacher Pritt. There we go. We've got an anagram of Terry Pratchett. He's Teacher Pritt. We'll come back to Terry Pratchett another time, probably in the next video when we do store names and the like. Another nice, simple one is to go to the local cemetery, look around the gravestones and just take their names. Most people probably wouldn't mind. They'd probably be quite honoured. You can come up with some nice, really random names. And also nicknames, because people like Florence, called Flo. This, if you watched the previous video, is my painting of the Queen Truth from my book, The Fantasy Dagger. All of her family and all of the characters in The Fantasy Dagger and the series, for the most part, have names of power, as somebody termed it, which I coined and used. Names of power are descriptive names. They're either an object or they're a feeling or a word that has a meaning behind it. Truth. Her brothers are Quarry, Wild, Whisper. There's Fell and Cold and Visage. But their names are names of power. They have a meaning behind them and they have an ability behind them. Simply, it's almost like they have a kind of magic. Prince Whisper has the ability to get stories. He gets rumours and tales out of people. People will just go, oh, did you hear about so-and-so? He knows all the gossip and all of the rumours around. Truth gets the truth, not the whispers, not the random rumours. She gets the actual truth. Quarry has a latent ability that he doesn't believe in the magic's being a real thing until he proves otherwise, and by himself being able to do something involving Quarry and rock. Wild is the wild child, the pest, the nuisance. The forest men in the giant forest to the east are always named after something to do with forests and trees and things. Fell, log, bark, sap, leaf, grow, root, anything that's got anything to do with trees, forests, and that. And so they have that secret to their name. They may not know what their ability is. It might just be a natural thing. They might be joined. They might be able to congeal two different types of plants together, and they don't even realise it. You can literally have stone or glitter. You know, I'm looking at things. Glass, pad. One of my characters is called Master Coat. He's a wagon driver. That's really weirdly, he becomes something since I named that person. Now the person is now a wagon driver. You can literally take anything. I've called characters Pen before. Of course, you can call someone Mike. Cup, oil, anything and everything. If you want a character that's got a sort of secret or an ability, you can do pick. It could be a thief because he's a lockpick. You could be Gears. It could be an artificer or Sharp. I named a character Sharp, which somebody used in a game recently, and he was a sharpshooter. All of those work by associating their character to become part of their name. Of course, you could just name somebody Candle, and they are seamstress. You know, doesn't have to be. Maybe they've missed their calling. They hate being sewing clothes all the time, and they just keep setting fire to things.
You could always just go to Google Translate, hit a few keys, and then see what they turn them into. There you go. You have a place. It's called Grindblin. Or you literally type grinding. Turn it to whatever Papiamento is, and it's called Melina. Pick a random thing. Italian. Machinazone. Then take Machinazone, paste it in, and change that to Punjabi. Machinazione. To Punjabi would be Pishana. Turn it into Malavipin. Malavipin. Let's try Smith. Does Smith work? Smith to Kibaki. Let's try Minx. Oh, Smith becomes Geoil with a random semicolon afterwards. Copy it, paste it into there, and turn that into. There we go. Goalie. You have a character, you have a name, you have a new place. Look at that beautiful writing. That's the basis for your script. Take that, turn it upside down. You've now got random letters. Try it, see what you come up with. Let me know in the comments.
Well, there we go. That is part 1 of ways to create names for your characters. Part 2, as I said, will be up soon, and that's much more places and things and shops and so forth. And again, a lot of these names, you could do that in this list. You could make a shop name, but there's other ways of doing it and other name generators that you enjoy this? So if you did, leave comments down below with all the names that you came up with for all the different name generators. The Star Wars names, your porn star name, your actor's name, typing your name one letter to the left, changing the letter one letter up on the alphabet, and there are plenty more. We will come to those. Until then, comments down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share it to somebody who might use it. Send it to your DM to help them come up with names for characters. And if you're not already, follow along by hitting subscribe and come back for more character names, more characters, more model painting, more stories. Making stories one mistake at a time. Until then, bye. Take the Frere and the Og, so frog. You could be called frog. So you won't work. So you take the. I'm going to stop now because this is going off a random tangent.